United States, but when you play here, you almost feel as though you're being transported to another continent altogether.
Yeah, it looks like a links golf course. Obviously, marvelous views of Lake Michigan, but already hosted in its short time 2 major championships. The PGA Championship back in 2004, where Vijay Singh won, and of course 2010, when the victor was Martin Kaymer.
First tee at a major championship, the PGA Championship, always some butterflies. Frank, you know that. You've been there. You've been in contention. How about this first shot?
Well, that bunker on the right side of the fairway, that's the one that really sticks out and grabs your mind's eye. It's a good line. If you can just draw the ball off that, it should be ideal for the second shot.
Headed for the bunker? Not quite what he wanted. Tee shot is in the bunker. Anything you do differently with your setup?
Just dig my feet into the sand a little bit more, but make sure you focus on the exact spot on the ball you want to hit.
Players still fighting the strong winds out there today. Uh-oh, this one's going left, Frank. Not enough on that one.
Yeah, it just seemed to baby it.
And setting up here in the rough. Wow, Frank, he did well just to get it on the green from that lie.
I didn't think that was doable.
Settles in over the putt. Frank, that's disappointing. You like to get out of the gates with a par.
Yeah, this is where a convenient memory would certainly help.
To 1 over par early on in this round. Ready to tee off at this magnificent second hole. Frank, all I see are bunkers and water.
Well, that's pretty much what everybody else is going to see as well. Ideally, hit it down the left, though, and then you don't have a blind second shot. Even though you can be on the fairway on the right side, well, you won't see the green.
That appeared to be a good strike right there, Frank.
Oh, good. It's just towering. Look at that hanging in the sky.
That one is in the fairway, down there about 290 yards. Second from an excellent lie. Getting set for this next shot from the rough, what does the player need to be careful of here, Frank?
Well, this is where we're going to see exactly how good they are because, you know, that's not exactly the best lie, but it's sort of doable if you know what you're doing.
Frank, you hate to miss the green on a par 5 with your third shot.
Well, they say par 5s are the easiest holes to birdie, but the hardest holes to make 4. Making a 6, though, that certainly sets yourself backwards. So tough up and down. Too bad. It's about 23 feet away.
He didn't hit the flagstick, but he still has a chance. Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business.
When you consider the length of that putt, it's a good putt. Really. This is an awkward length. Yeah, a little unlucky there.
Bit of a struggle early on, 3 over. Now the stunning 188-yard par 3 third here at Whistling Straits.
Yeah, the green angles to the left. You have to be careful because it's well protected by those huge bunkers and dunes on the left.
Offline, and I think that one's headed for the rough. Frank, better than we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that looked like it was headed for that thick stuff the whole way, but a little fortunate. But then I guess you're allowed that in this game.
Nice approach shot. He'll be happy with that. These putts keep the round together. Three over for the day. Frank, it's absolutely breathtaking, isn't it? I mean, you look left and all you see are the waters of Lake Michigan. It's called glory.
Well, that's one of the amazing things that Pete Dye has done in his design of this great golf course, is to incorporate all the natural vistas that are available. Whoop, this is taken off on a weird line.
And it's going to be in the rough, it looks like. So that sets up a tougher second shot, missing the fairway with the drive, now in the rough. Second shot coming out of the rough here. There's a big green, and they'll use every inch of it. Rich, that was some shot out of the rough. I really didn't think he could even get that on the green. Well, just to get it on the green, as you say, I think is a big win. Locked in on the read and the speed.
Oh, how did that miss?
Are you kidding me? I mean, that one was dead center. Just a couple of feet. Hasn't been easy, but he'll take it. That's a par. 3 over for the day. Here at Whistling Straits, and they call this hole Snake. Frank, how do you avoid getting bitten by it?
Well, if you go left, there's water. If you go right, there's water. This hole is anything other than straight, so it suits its name. Somehow find the fairway. Best way to play this is treat it as a 3-shotter.
You can see a little bit off balance on the tee, and that one is going to be in the rough. You have to think he'll be happy with that, given that it looked like it was headed right for the rough.
Yeah, it looked like that was the only place it was going to finish, but, well, it's a little bit unexplainable. Let's see what he does from here now. Lucky break.
Frank, there really is nothing in America quite like Whistling Straits when you consider that it looks like an old seaside links course, and yet it's in the middle of America. It's in Wisconsin.
Yeah, it's a beautiful piece of landscaping there that wraps around Lake Michigan. So that's what gives it that links-like feel. But then it took a genius of an architect to build in 18 phenomenal holes that match the environment.
Frank, that ball's sitting up like it's on plush carpeting.
Rich, if you and I had lies like that every time, we'd still be playing this game for a living.
Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
Wow, Frank, he is dialed in.
Yeah, that was just some shot on there. Easy birdie.
So a tester from 4 feet. So with that, they're trying to fight back. Now at 2 over. Ready to hit the tee shot here at the 6th. Frank, where are you looking to land the ball off the tee here?
Well, Rich, finally a par 4 that's not overly long. There's a little bunker down the left. That's about 250 yards. Shouldn't have a problem carrying that, but it's the next two, just up ahead around the 330 mark. Just keep it a little short of that, short iron in.
Good spot right there.
Center cut. Got the measurement out there, Rich. Looks like 290 yards.
Frank, what's the best way to play this shot at the 6th?
If you can hit like a bullet cut with a little bit of run on it, then there's a chance that you might actually be able to drive it on this green. But just be careful of that pot bunker. It's sort of smack bang in the middle of this green.
Frank, you think about the great rivalries in sports, the Yankees and the Red Sox, Ollie and Frazier, and in golf, Nicklaus and Palmer. Great athletes, great teams, pushing one another to great heights.
It's amazing how that's gone forward too, because Nicklaus and Palmer really became Nicklaus and Watson. Then there was like Norman Faldo, but some would say that Faldo Ballesteros, 6 majors to 5 was even more important. But in this era that we're in now, I think we're all praying for that Woods-McIlroy rivalry. You know, Woods with 14 majors, McIlroy already with 4. That really is one to salivate over. Oh, solid strike right in the heart of the green.
Really good distance control there, playing well to his strengths. Frank going for another birdie here.
Just to get on a real roll.
Well done. Back-to-back birdies. On the 7th tee now, and a tricky 221-yard par 3.
If you have a look at the way in which Pete Dye has designed this hole, you can see that the green shapes away to the right. So if you can bring the ball in from the left, it's certainly desirable.
Generate some momentum here at the 7th hole. This for birdie. Well, this would be nice, Frank. I mean, you talk about jump-starting around. If he were to make another birdie, we'd really have it going in the right direction.
You can sort of feel it too. People around there know. I've seen the birdies to this point.
That was a good-looking putt, just not falling right now.
Sadly, he's going to be disappointed.
You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Just trying to keep this round on track. Has that putt, stays at 1 over. Frank, there's a real art to putting a good 72-hole score in the book, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. You know, you can have a flash of brilliance, make 5 or 6 birdies. It can be offset by doubles and quadruple bogeys. And in the end, it's the end. What did you do? The plus and the minuses. And that's why all our biggest championships have, and of recent, been stroke play.
Just a good solid tee shot right there, about 280 yards. Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
Frank, what's so compelling about rivalries in sports is that athletes need each other if they're going to go to great heights. Joe Frazier needed Muhammad Ali to solidify his legend. Jack Nicklaus probably needed Arnold Palmer to go to a place that he had not been. And I think that's true across the board as we look at rivalries in sports.
I think it defines careers, Rich. It's not until those players retire that they realized how important it was to have that foe. You know, so often we're living in the present like we are now with Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy. And it's not for years to come that we'll realise the sport wouldn't have been the same with one without the other.
And setting up here in the rough. That was like Usain Bolt, Frank, right through the tape.
Yeah, that first step, that was never going to stop.
Now his fourth shot. And he's made it onto the green now. Getting set now over the putt. So he has that for bogey. I can't help but think that the double bogey at 1 and now another at number 2 has really taken him out of his game at this point. Frank, what about this downhill shot off the tee and the idea that you just want to sort of let that ball run toward the green down the hill?
Well, Pete Dye just gives you so many different looks throughout the front 9 of Whistling Straits, and this really is the first example of this, plus the swirling winds that are created by that sort of tree in the mounding on the right of this green. Quite spectacular.
Not overly long, but still a pretty good spot and in the fairway.
Yeah, that's in that 280 mark.
Frank, now the second shot here at the 9th.
You can get caught with swirling winds here because of the trees and the protection on the hill on the right side. Another one to be very, very careful of.
That's a disappointment right there, Frank.
Yeah, green light special, really. Come up considerably short.
Chance to get it close here. Frank, golf may be the best sport to follow from this standpoint. You can get closer to the great athlete in golf than you can in any other sport. You could stand 5 feet from Tiger Woods at a tee box as he's getting ready to drive. I mean, that's really unusual in sports.
Yeah, it's a different type of spectator sport, especially if you follow your favorite player all the way around the golf course. Because it's not like waiting for your favorite hitter in a baseball game. You know, you've got to wait several innings. You can literally see him hit every single shot, drive through to putt.
those keep the round going, those par putts. Well, the best players have landed here in the middle of the country and really in another world. There is no golf course quite like Whistling Straits. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo for EA Sports. And Frank, let's get it started here with the 10th hole.
Not very long at 391 yards. Some of the longer hitters can actually get very close to this green. But if you want to do that, you've got to flash it down the left side. That's a little dicey.
Missed that one, and it is going towards the rough. Well, he pays a price for that.
Yeah, when you don't see the top of the ball in the rough, you know it's not sitting pretty. Going to need a bit of force to extract one out of there.
Yeah, about 145 yards left here.
This is not heading in the right direction.
It looks like it's going to be in the rough. Playing this par 4, still not on the green after that second shot.
But still not done. A good third shot. Maybe get away here with par.
Frank, you always talk about it not compounding the error, but here again, another shot from the rough.
Yeah, if you try again. Not a problem there, Rich.
Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. That's a par. Stays at +2. Par 5 11th, and Frank, just a few bunkers here on this hole.
A few. I've lost count of how many bunkers there are on 11. Ideally, you want to hit it down the left side, and this really where you take the head cover off, a good long one, because 645, doesn't matter whichever way you cut it, it's going to be a few good hits plus some more.
Great strike and a great result. Sitting up, good chance to attack the flag. And now the second shot here at this par 5.
That's an absolute beauty.
Frank, this is a huge par 5. How reachable is it?
Well, probably chances of getting home there, you're going to need something around the 340-yard mark off the tee. If you've done that, well, one thing to be aware of is that huge bunker, that huge deep bunker short left of this green. Frank, for players looking to improve their putting, what are some of the training methods they can use? I think speed is always is a good one when you get on the putting green and you just practice trying to putt inside that 3-foot circle, because in the end all sports are the same. You're trying to focus in on the destination where that ball has to be delivered, whether it's tennis inside the court or basketball inside the rim. Putting's no different. As you get further and further away from the hole, then you just make an acceptable size circle that you're trying to putt within. So pace, very important.
Frank, not close, but from that lie, not bad.
Oh, that's excellent. Seriously, given the conditions, Rich.
Locked in on the read and the speed. Ooh, that hurts.
Whoa, that was unexplainable. Thought that was easily going to be a par.
You don't have to focus. Try to make bogey. Have to try to get a hold of this round. It is getting away. 3 over par after another bogey. Frank, the previous hole we took out the sledgehammer. Now at the 12th, we'll need a scalpel, it looks like.
Yeah, at 163 yards, you wouldn't think it's very long. But really, the problem is the green. You can pitch the ball in the middle of the green and still it can kick over. So be very, very aware of the mounding and the undulations on this green.
Frank, I think that's going to the bunker.
Looks like it. Well, Mr. Ball does not meet Mr. Fairway. It's off, rough.
Second shot coming out of the rough here. That is professional with a capital P right there.
That's stealing.
On to the 13th, and this par 4, Frank, they lovingly call cliffhanger. How do you deal with these 402 yards, Frank?
Really, you got to pick a spot down the left side. Even where the rough isn't really such a bad line. Keep it down there, let everything kick to the right, but you have to avoid missing right here.
Like the looks of this one.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this looks good.
Certainly is. Oh, that's it. New member of the 300-yard club.
Good poke right there. Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
Frank, these days golfers are training like high-level athletes from other sports. Rory McIlroy, for example, has been using a guy by the name of Steve McGregor, who happened to be the trainer for the New York Knicks of the NBA.
And part of his training now is high altitude. The majority of the medal holders, for example, in the Olympics, or medal winners in the Olympics, actually use high altitude training. You know, you can develop more red blood cells in a shorter period of time. But, you know, golf, we've had so many different types of training from the athlete side. But you go back to the old days of Henry Cotton beating an old tire. Vijay Singh picked up on that. Or even the rhythm of Sam Snead. He used to count in the rhythm. It was 1, 2, 3. It was 1 at the top of the swing, 2 at impact, and 3 at the follow through. All those things are still very valid today.
Wow, that was so close, Frank.
Just time to forget that one. I mean, he couldn't hit that much better.
And getting ready for the putt. Rolls in the par putt, stays at +2. So with 5 holes left to play here at the PGA Championship, we arrive at this dogleg left, par 4.
Well, it's called Widow's Watch, but really it's a thinking man's hole. A long iron, maybe even a fairway wood just down the right side. That should set up a relatively simple short iron.
That appeared to be a good strike right there, Frank.
Oh, it's just towering. Look at that hanging in the sky.
That one is in the fairway, down there about 290 yards. Frank, with the drive off to the left side, what's the player looking at now?
Well, a blind second shot, so you've got to pick one of those mounds in the distance to really focus on a line here.
Oh, looked like he caught a flyer right there, Frank.
Oh, I don't know what he caught, but this is way too much.
So the second of the par 4 goes begging, and now I'll have to rely on the short game.
Yeah, but a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. See if he does it here.
Frank, just into that first cut.
Yeah, it's sitting up. Really, this isn't too bad a situation.
Solid play, heart of the green. He has this attempt for par. Did the job right there. The 15th now, and a 503-yard par 4 here at Whistling Straits.
Well, it's certainly beautiful to look at, but tough to play. Bunkered once again, left and right. But it's a hole that you have to hit a driver down here, just purely because of the length of the hole.
Well, this one has a chance to be really good.
Long and straight.
That's how you do it. He has given this one the full treatment. Perfect release through the ball, and this shot is on the fairway, over 300 yards.
Second shot.
Appears to be a smart shot, Frank.
Yeah, no problem here. That's going to fly all the way.
Really good distance control there, playing well to his strengths. This one just requires a little bit of focus. So, one over par for the round. Now the run to the finish beginning here at the 16th, Frank.
And there's certainly a chance for 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, you name it down here. But it's all going to start with one thing, and that's a good drive. Whoop, this is taken off on a weird line.
And it's going to be in the rough, it looks like. We moved that one out there, but he is not going to like the lie.
That moved down in the rough.
Second shot coming out of the rough here. Tugged that one a little bit offline to the left. And he'll pay a bit of a price because that rough is fairly thick. Into the tall cabbage. That ball is swallowed up. All right, now another shot from the rough.
Yeah, this time better be better than the one we just saw.
He's knocked it on the green, but not in a great position. This is a difficult chance coming up here. Long birdie try. Frank, I'm not saying he should pull out driver here, but this is a long putt.
Greens are fast, though. You never know. Good line, good pace. Might have a chance.
That was not a very good read right there. All right, no damage done. Stays at 1 over par with that putt. Frank, the 17th hole. I don't like the sound of it. It's called pinched nerve, and I'm not sure I like the look of it. 249 yards and all sorts of trouble to the left.
Well, trouble to the left, there is some 20 feet below the level of the green, so that's a no-go zone. And then, of course, on the right, there's a huge mound, a sand dune there with a bunker in it. That sort of makes you hit that tee shot a little further left. But believe me, there is a little bit of green in between both. There's a bunker over there.
I think he's headed for it. So that sets up a tougher second shot, missing the fairway with the drive, now in the rough. Shot now from the rough. Frank, what's he facing?
Well, the lie first and foremost. If it's sitting down, then obviously you're not going to get a very good contact. Nothing wrong with coming up a little bit short of the green. Problem is turning one mistake into another.
Not looking good, Frank.
I think it's wet.
So toweled off, dried off, and ready to go.
Yeah, let's hope this swing he hasn't still got the floaties on.
So this is his 4th shot after the last one found the water.
It's not all over, but right now, too, he's staring down the barrel of a very bad hole.
That's a disappointment right there, Frank.
Yeah, green light special, really. Come up considerably short.
Frank, you always talk about it. Don't compound the mistakes. Well, here we are, another shot from the rough.
And this one no easier than the one he's just hit.
Well, double par here. Time to pick up and move on. Frank, quite a finishing hole, and that's as it should be. This is, after all, a major championship.
Well, you can see why Bubba Watson, Martin Keimer, Dustin Johnson have played well here. This finishing hole requires the long hitter's best tee shot, preferably just a little down the right side, because that's the safer side to be.
This is the second shot at the par 4.
This is not heading in the right direction.
And it looks like it's going to be in the rough. That's a bit offline in the rough. And setting up here in the rough.
Just too much juicy grass between the ball and the club face. It's always going to come up short out of that sort of light. Not too bad. It's about 23 feet away.
He didn't hit the flagstick, but he still has a chance. That may have been a bit too much to ask for there, that distance putt, Frank.
Yeah, it's fine to be greedy before you hit the putt, but after you've hit it, 2 from that distance is fine.
That had to really hurt, Frank, because it looked good all the way.
Well, this will test his mettle.
Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. This golf course has been demanding today, and the scores reflect that, 7 over par. So, Frank, as we put a wrap on the day, it wasn't his best performance, but there's always tomorrow in golf.
Yeah, you still got to
you.